Dr. Subramanian Swamy joins us live, and as we take the first question with him, we are also putting the numbers on flashing the numbers, and if Dr. Swamy will agree after 2 or 3 questions, and if we have callers, we will try and see what our viewers have to ask Dr. Swamy, who's now taken this as a war footing across states. And he believes across states, religious institutions should not be tampered with and state control shouldn't happen. Dr. Swamy, good evening, sir. Thank you for taking the right stand. Let me ask you, sir. Let me ask you, sir. The state comes out and says, what's wrong if we are doing this? We are only regulating cash-rich temples from mismanagement.
That's not the work of the government. The government should maintain law and order. Government should propagate and implement development programs. Government should make possible for their citizens to move freely in the state and interstate. Those are the things the government should be doing. And if the government really wanted to control religious institutions, why only Hindu religious institutions? Why don't they touch the Muslim Islamic institutions, the Christian institutions? It's not a single one of them in any state since we got independence has the government ever taken over any mismanaged Muslim, Islamic or Christian institution. So this is a bogus argument. And furthermore, in 2007, one of the most distinguished judges of our Supreme Court who retired, called Paripurnan, and 2 other very distinguished gentlemen, they were asked by the Kerala government to form a commission and examine how these Devasom boards are functioning. And it's a devastating report. They say, the report says that it is a den of corruption. It says that in favoritism, all kinds of charges have been made. And the government has never implemented that, even though the Kerala High Court has given them several, reminders that they should implement the commission reports and make the changes. Of course, the commission did not go as far as to say abolish Devasom board, but they suggested those reforms which will in effect make it into a non-existent body, in the sense it will lose most of its powers.
But what is the root of all of this,
evidence.
Dr. Swamy, sorry to interrupt you, but what is the root? Is it money? Is it the money, the rich, cash-rich coffers of these temples and these boards?
No, that's not how it started. It started because the religious and spiritual leaders started opposing British rule. And so then the East India Company started taking them over. And then when Victoria became the so-called Empress of India, then they started institutionalizing it. And after independence, it has been nothing but looting it, patronage, giving money to people, favorites, this kind of thing. Total mismanagement has been done by the government. In the name of taking it over to avoid mismanagement, they have doubled the mismanagement.
Dr. Swamy, I have callers, viewers who are already calling in. And if you would agree, sir, we'll just take 1 or 2 and listen to their views so that you could respond, Dr. Swamy. Thank you, sir. Shankar from Bengaluru also already with us. Good evening, Shankar. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm Shankar from Bangalore. Subramanian Swamy, sir, I'm grateful that you have taken up this issue. But because I've just heard most of these governments are interested in only taking care of temples. They say that we want to take care of temples, and whatever money they get as donations in the temple, they take for the welfare of the state. Why not churches and mosques? They are also, because this is a secular country, they will have to take care. If they take care of temples, they should take care of mosques and churches also. They don't do that. I have heard people going to Sabrimala. There is a mosque called Vavars Mosque. Whatever donations got in Vavars Mosque is taken by the mosque. But whereas whatever is got in Ayyappa temple goes to the state development.
There's to the board.
Double speak. Why this double speak?
Fair point. Shankar, keep your question short, please. Let Dr. Swamy respond. Yes, Dr. Swamy. Is that a fair argument? Is that right? Or is it being economical with the facts?
Yes, well, see, the Christian and Muslim community are very well organized. And there will be an uproar if you take over the institute. Hindus are being traditionally disorganized. Their organization and coming together has only happened in the last 20 years. And therefore, governments have assumed that nobody will protest. And in fact, in Tamil Nadu, all the temple lands have been taken over by MLAs. They have built houses there.
Yes.
In fact, the path-breaking judgment that is now, the path-breaking judgment which has now laid the foundation for attacking government long-term takeover of temples started with my victory in Supreme Court when I got the DMK to give up the Savanayaka temple, which is known as Nataraj temple in the town of Chidambaram. And at that time the eyes of the Supreme Court were opened. They laid down the law that any takeover, first you must prove that there has been genuinely a mismanagement of the finances. You can only administer the finances and nothing else. And third is that after a limited time, on which, as you pointed out, there is a disagreement whether it should be 3 years or 5 years, it must be returned.
Yes.
Now, Tirupati temple, the richest temple and the most well-managed temple by the pujaris, that has been in the hands of the governments for 85 years, since 1933. And all the so-called boards are all run by politicians. Most of them are corrupt. There was a liquor fellow who became the chairman the last time. So that is why I am saying that the temples are not to be run by the government. It should be run by the people.
And perhaps the Devasom board or the devotees who form the committee should decide who runs it. But how do you check on corruption is another side, another question. Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, somewhere around 600 crores. That's the coffers, that's the reserves, and the annual collections run into those numbers, and that's a lot of money. Sabrimala itself last year was 300 crores. This time they say it's around 122 crores are the collections. Ravi from Bengaluru with us, sir, and Lakshmi Narayanan from Chennai. Yes, Ravi, go ahead, please.
Narasimhan, very good evening to you, and I admire you as a very fantastic anchor. And Dr. Swamy, very good evening to you. This is Ravi from Bangalore. I have a very limited point to make. That is, I really admire you are a messiah for Hindus and Hinduism, and I really admire you taking up this case in Supreme Court. And actually, as you rightly put it, sir, why the churches and mosques are not taken into consideration by the state government, and especially the churches, because there the complexity is even more, because there are foreign funds which are coming in, and it is more threat to the security, and other chances are there. And even in mosques, I think even we are not able to tax them, and then even we are not able to go inside as freely as we go into a Hindu temple and check whether there are funds are not audited or whatever it is.
Right, Ravi.
So I really,
Thank you for calling in, Ravi. I have paucity of time, so I'm going to control. I'm going to limit your conversation right now. Dr. Swamy will respond to you also, and also Lakshmi Narayan together. Yes, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, do you have a question, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So very good evening.
Good evening.
My question will be that if the temples are allowed to perform on their own without any government intervention, I think we can take care of poverty and we can provide better education to all the citizens of India. For these 70 years, I think we should have gone much ahead when compared to United States. Unfortunately, I think it's high time we need to free all temples.
Well, thank you, Lakshmi Narayan. Now, Dr. Swamy, sir, your final comment. Sir, as you respond to our viewers.
Well, see, I must tell you that temples originally were a cultural center. It was not just to go to pray. You could do Bharatanatyam there, yoga there, you could arrange marriages there, have an astrologer look at your Janamapatri, and the place where people met. And after 1857, the British felt that this kind of concept is continuing the vibrancy of the Hindu religion, and that's why they decided to dismantle it. The Islamic invasion, they destroyed temples, but the British were more skillful. They decided to emaciate it, and that emaciation process has been going on after independence, and I think it's about time now, and the Supreme Court is, in my opinion, has now come to a conclusion that yes, government should oversee temples definitely. intervene when absolutely necessary, but get out as fast as possible after restoring the health of the temple in this administration.
We see, sir, whether we get another Tariq or do we get actually a hearing and a ruling and a step taken forward on the 31st of Jan, Dr. Swamy, because in the case of temples, somehow we always get Tariq pe Tariq. That is something.
No, not correct.
Which happens. We'll see how it pans out, Dr. Swamy. We'll see how it pans out. Thank you very much. Thank you.